head out to the garden and find out how we can stop pests in their tracks. Good morning, everybody. This is Deb from Just Do Something Homestead, and today we're going to talk about various pests that are out to eat or destroy your garden. Today we are in the potato patch, and look what I just found. This is our third year of growing potatoes here, and so far we've been lucky. We've never had a Colorado potato bug. Well, today that all changed. These are the young ones. The adult ones are hard crusted and they have a stripe down their back, but these are the young ones, which are much easier to treat if you find them early. And here's a quick sign that you have potato bugs. See how the leaves are all eaten down to the stem. For this black residue, which is actually their poop. If you see these two signs, start looking under the leaves because you have potato bugs. Thankfully, potato bugs are easy to spot because they're this bright orange red. Look at these two guys just eating away. Since we do not use any pesticides on our farm, we are going to deal with these organically. If you don't have a huge amount of them, one of the easiest ways is to just pick that leaf and step on them. But when they get to this extent where they're doing a lot of damage to your potato plant, you need to take action pretty quick. One of the products that I use is organic neem oil. On the back you see it controls aphids, white flies, fruit flies, mites, mealybugs, scales, but if you look close, and other insect pests. The trick to using neem oil is you need to spray it when the insects are not hard shelled. That's when they're young and they're still soft. And after spraying these beetles, I want to come back in 1 week and do it again. Other than a few of my potato plants on the perimeter of my garden, most of them are bug-free. Potatoes are in the nightshade family, and mine are just starting to flower. I'm back in the potato patch checking on my potato plants, and lo and behold, the neem oil did nothing against my potato bugs. So at this point, I'm going to start picking off these bugs. What's really upsetting is that I completely soaked them in the neem oil, not once or twice, but 3 times, and they just seem to have multiplied and grown. Well, the only thing I have is a dog dish, so I'm going to start picking up these bugs, knocking them into the bowl. This is when you want to make sure you either kill them or you remove them, because they can do a whole lot of damage to your plants. And if they become adults, then they can breed and reproduce and have a whole lot more. So I'm out here today and we're gonna pick off all that we can. Another big predator that I have in my garden is actually birds. And I was able to go to Dollar Tree and purchase these little plastic metal baskets. And you know what? They worked well for covering up my strawberries. The problem became that my strawberry plants started getting too big. And then when I went to Dollar Tree, they didn't have any more baskets, so I have been searching for a better alternative. Slugs used to be the problem until I started using straw under my plants, and now I really don't have any slugs to be concerned about. But the birds will come along and they will peck a hole in every single strawberry. I tried painted stones and miscellaneous things that people have suggested, but honestly, covering them up seems to work the best. I found a 5-pack of gardening cubes that you assemble, but they were $80 for 5 of them. And I thought, you know what? They look like cube organizers for your closet. So I ordered a 12-cube closet organizer for half the price. I purchased 1 set. It has these cage pieces, and then it has the connectors. I just assembled one. Now I'm going to keep the bottom part open so that it actually goes on top of the plant like this. It's a little wobbly, but honestly, I don't think songbirds are going to destroy this. But I realized I could also put some zip ties, just cheap ones from the dollar store, in that bottom space if I wanted to. Specifically, I'm going to be using these for strawberry plants, and right now for my sunflower seeds. I planted the seeds yesterday, and in the past, the birds came along and they would just dig them all up, or they'd wait until they were about 1 inch tall and then pull them out. I grow grow sunflowers right along the fence between my chickens and my garden. And it works out great during the year. I can throw all my scraps over it. But right now, they are bent on reaching their little heads in there and getting my seedlings. Honestly, I think this is going to work out well. Listen to that bird. I had such plans to work in my garden today. I finally have a few hours that I could devote to it. And as you might also be hearing, it is raining. So on to plan B. Let's assemble these cages. There are two ways to use these corner pieces. The one is to slip the cage down and hold it upright, which I will be using those next. But the other way is actually to slide it into the side piece. And that's what I'm going to start first. I'm going to slide the corner pieces onto the rack. All right, each one of these snapped into the corners. And now I'm going to take the next piece, which are the sides, and they are going to go upright. So these are going to go into each of these and then straighten it on up. It only takes about 30 seconds to put one together, so I'm going to fly right through these. Okay, it made 8 of these frames to protect my plants. I'm going to go put them where I planted sunflowers. They remind me of crates, and honestly, if you want to keep out things like insects, all you're going to need to do is add some fine mesh on top of them, and I think it would be pretty easy to add it. But I'm just trying to keep the birds from pulling out my sunflower seeds. The best part is because you are assembling them, they are extremely versatile. So this one I made extra tall in case I'm covering something like a tomato plant, but you can actually turn this sideways and open up the bottom and make it that way, or make it into a cube. There's just endless ways you can assemble these. Honestly, I just keep coming up with more ideas of what I could put them over. You know, if I want to protect a lettuce, there's just so many things I can use these for, and the best part, they completely will break down so I can store them at the end of the garden season. The third thing I want to talk about today is the dreaded squash or cucumber bugs. These little tyrants decimated my squash plants in just a couple hours when I went to school last week. See this leaf? This is a zucchini, and it was destroyed by a cucumber beetle. You heard me right, destroyed. Thankfully, I found them within hours of them completely covering my plants. Those beetles had eaten every single leaf that was on my squash plant. I immediately sprayed them with neem oil, and looky here, this is new growth. That's what you want to look for. Unfortunately, some of them were just too eaten. They did not survive, so I had to replant many of those seeds. The funny thing is, this is how large they were. This is the opposite side of the trellis, and for some reason, they only ate the ones on the south side. These are fine. The fourth thing that's trying to kill your vegetable plants is aphids, especially on your pepper plants. I've tried smashing aphids. They smash very quickly and easily, but when you have an infestation, there's just too many to smash. One sign to look for is these curled or deformed leaves. Aphids like to live in two distinct places. One is the top center, and that's where I can see one already. That is an aphid. The other is underneath leaves, so if you were to take a leaf and look under it, often you'll find some. This leaf is clear. Aphids come in multiple colors. Typically, my peppers get these light green aphids, and you can see by my finger how very tiny it is. There are two things that I do that are organic that help to eliminate aphids. And with everything in life, I like to start with the easiest solution first, and then if it doesn't work, we pull out the big guns. First thing I always do is spray them with soapy water. To mix up the soapy water, you're going to need 3 things. The first is a spray bottle. I buy numerous ones of these at the Dollar Tree for now $1.25. Then you're going to need water and some kind of soap. I like to write on this container spray bottle exactly what I have in it, because sometimes I'm mixing concentrated organic insecticides, so I don't want to get things mixed up. So I know this is just soap and water. I fill this container with water up until the top line. There's no exact recipe for mixing this. I'm just going to pour some of this soap into it. You can watch the level go up. This is very thick soap, so it takes a little bit. All right, let's see how many I have. Oh, I'm going to add a little bit more. I'm going to go until about the top of this tag. Now, if you're saying Mrs. Meyer's soap is just too expensive, I encourage you to go to those expensive grocery stores. My favorite is Martin's. I was able to get these for $1.29, and honestly, I got about a dozen of them. Turn this dial clockwise so that it is almost shut. That's going to give you a fine mist. If you continue to turn it the other way, it's going to just be a stream. So you want to mist your spray. You want to completely coat that pepper. And don't put it out in the sunshine. I have it right now on my porch. Another area you want to get is under the leaves. See how the soap bubbled up? That's what you want, enough soap to hold it on to those aphids. And to be honest, that is all I did to treat my aphids this year. It worked fantastic. So I saved my neem oil for insects that are a little more difficult to remove. I'd wait about a week. If you see they are gone, it has successfully worked. If not, give it a second treatment and that should do it. The next thing I'm going to show you is a really quick homemade way to get rid of weeds that you don't want. Now, Jim is very good at weed whacking, but the problem with weed whacking is you may come along and weed whack it, but just like this burdock, it's just going to come right on back because you didn't damage or kill the center of the plant. And yes, I know there are many wonderful medicinal reasons to keep your burdock. I've got 45 acres. Much of it's covered in burdock. I don't need it in my driveway. And this method is even easier. All you need is a pot to boil some water and water. Then heat until boiling and pour over your weeds. Okay, let's go weed. All right, you want to pour it directly on the center of the plant and completely drench the leaves that are still alive. Like that. There's a little one coming up. Let's get him while he's young. And this is after just a few minutes. It definitely works well. Thank you so much for joining us today as we talked about all those things that can stop or try to stop our gardening efforts. Whether it's insects or weeds, you got this. I want to take the time to thank you for sticking around. It's been a hard year, both returning back to teaching and homesteading, plus my YouTube. And I am so thankful for all the subscribers who stuck with me. And today is the first day of my official summer break. So hopefully I'll be pumping out some more homesteading videos to help you on your journey. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. Have a blessed day, everybody. Bye-bye. Honeybees love my flowering parsley.